I wouldn't say he wears teams out, and I wouldn't say it's a theory. I would say that he uses them up, and I would say that the proof is in the pudding. But I'm going to stay with the premise that we have, which is there an expiration date on this relationship? And I'm going to say no, simply because there's no uncoupling this relationship at this point. If we're going to use the idea of what do you normally do when the milk hits the expiration date? You go to the store and you get more milk. Or if you're LeBron James, you move down the street to the neighbors who have fresh milk. That's not a possibility in this case. LeBron James likes where he lives right now. And I can't see him, while certainly he would bring a lot to any franchise that he would go to. I'm not sure at this point that there are franchises that would be intriguing or attractive to him that would be willing to make that gambit. So this is, and I know I'm jumping around here when it comes to analogies, but this is a little bit like the parents. The relationship might be over. They might have hit their expiration date, but you don't have a whole lot of other options that are better. So you stay together. And I have to say, it's going to be a rough next couple of years. For the Lakers, for LeBron, but maybe for more so than anybody else, for Nick Wright. And that's why, Nick, I am here for you. I will be here on a regular basis. You are my hype man. Nice. I am going to be your wingman, because this is not going to be pretty the next couple of years.
Okay, so listen, since Rick, is now asserting what I had hoped would be the case, which is that he will regularly be with us, just a note to the producers. We need to find out what Rick's going to say before he says it, because Rick has a habit of saying something very interesting that is an indirect answer to the question that I have a natural reflex. I must respond to it, and it takes us off kilter. So I'm going to do that, and I apologize. So Rick said, that he uses teams up. And it's a very interesting phraseology, because what I would say is he fulfills exactly what he's promised, which is everywhere he goes, he delivers the entire point of organized sports, a championship. That can't be said about anybody else. Everywhere he goes, they have at least one ring to show for it. And as far as, Windy talking about it 4 years, after 4 years, teams are exhausted and it's reached its expiration date. Prior to the Lakers' tenure, one of the reasons the teams are so exhausted is because it's 4 straight years of playing in the final game of the season, 4 straight trips to the finals. And as we have seen from, just to pick a name out of a hat, Michael Jordan, typically 3 straight trips to the finals is all someone can handle. Then they need to take a sabbatical. Then they need to go play another sport. Then they need to go try to be a front office guy. So 4 straight years. Really? You play the same amount of games. One would argue it's actually more mentally taxing if you have to deal with the losses, if you have to deal with the failure, if you have to deal with the lows. But that's, you would have to be operating from a point of logic as opposed to a point of nostalgia. But that's neither here nor there. Brew, to answer the actual question, I will say, no, it hasn't reached its expiration date. What I think is that this offseason, the Lakers need to look themselves in the mirror and say, you know what? So LeBron has given us significant advice and direction repeatedly. We've listened to him on 2 of them. He's 1 for 2 on the ones we listened to him on, Anthony Davis and Russell Westbrook. And the ones we ignored him on, he was right, we were wrong. He wanted us to hire Ty Lue. We hired Frank Vogel. He was right. He wanted us to do something at the trade deadline, so at the very least we could have Broussard's patented puncher's chance in the play-in, and they didn't, and now they are dead team walking. The only way they'll get in is if the Spurs fall apart. So maybe, just maybe, even though LeBron whiffed on the Russell Westbrook thing, they should listen to him more. Because Anthony Davis, you want to give up all the picks and the kids? Yeah, win a title. You want to hire Ty Lue? Well, I don't know. Frank Vogel's about to be fired. Ty Lue might win Coach of the Year. So, yeah, maybe listen to him a little more, and maybe you'll be back where you're supposed to be.
Wow. All right, look, I do want to address the LeBron wears teams out narrative, because that is out there. All right, there's a lot of people that, when Windhorst said that, were like, yep, that's what I mean. But I'm with Nick on this. The goal of an organization, look, I know it's tough when LeBron's there. All right, the pressure to win is incredible. He's going to want a lot of say and throw his weight around. All right, and the pressure on the players that play with him, they get all the blame when they don't win, and he gets all the credit when they do win. So there's no doubt it's pressure there. But the goal is to win championships. It's not for the GM to have a fun time, to have a ball, to play fantasy basketball in real life. Oh my gosh, I enjoyed it so much. No, it is to win for your organization and your fan base, and LeBron does do that. And beyond that, Dan Gilbert, his first stint in Cleveland, which, Nick, he didn't deliver a championship that time, but Dan Gilbert obviously wanted him back. Comic Sans letter as evidence. When he left Miami, he didn't wear him out because Pat Riley was highly upset when LeBron left. And obviously, Cleveland, it was a little more easier to digest because he had won a championship. But obviously, they would have kept him had he not decided to go to the Lakers. So I reject the notion that he just wears teams out. It's tough. I understand that. But it was tough at times with Michael Jordan, too. But as far as his expiration date, Wilds, no. LeBron's expiration date will be when he's not very good anymore as a player. Okay? So, and I'll remind, look, Anthony Davis and LeBron James, two of the top 10, I guess for Rick, 15 players in the league when they're together. When they were together last year at the beginning of the season, they were 21-6. And then, of course, Anthony Davis
Don't take us
hurt.
down another
That was the
side
second
street.
best record in the league. No, I'm just saying, when AD is there, they can play. And so I disagree with Nick on is that they need to listen to LeBron more. I make the decisions that are right for the organization. Sure, he can have a little say, but no, they have to make the right basketball decisions for the team, whether LeBron agrees with them or not. Frank Vogel is a solid coach, not Ty Lue, but he did get him a championship. So, Wilds, bottom line, I don't think that the expiration date has come because LeBron James is still a very good player.
LeBron, he is a very good player when he plays. But currently, LeBron has played less than 70% of the Lakers' games. He's played 55 games. He doesn't even qualify for the scoring title yet. And we're coming down the stretch, and he's going to have to lace them up to be able to qualify. Anthony Davis is all of a sudden not going to be healthy. And I know Nick will say, well, 18 months ago, Anthony Davis was so good in the bubble, won a championship. Like, yeah, you know what he also had? A 3-month break before the bubble. We haven't had any evidence that Anthony Davis can start opening night and play all the way to the finals and be successful the entire time. You also have you know what should happen? Trade Russell Westbrook. For what? The idea that teams are lining up after they've seen what Russell Westbrook put on tape this year and going to give up assets or picks is just not happening on an expiring contract or not. I just don't buy it. I just don't buy it. I think it would have happened at the deadline if it was going to happen. I just don't think. Maybe you're right. Maybe you're right.
Wilds, would you
Go
think?
ahead, Nick.
Wilds, would you think that I'm taking a cheap shot if I said Steph Curry is a very good player when he plays, or Kevin Durant is a very good player when he plays? Because in the last 3 years, LeBron James has played more games than Steph Curry or Kevin Durant. He's older than them. He has more wear and tear. He also, by the way, is the only one of the three in the last 3 years have won a title. He's actually the only one in the last 4 years that's won a title. And actually, he's the only one in the last 8 years that's won a title without them being together. But that's neither here nor there. Like, the idea that LeBron is this massive injury risk when the other great players aren't. No, but hold on. When you say he's a great player when he plays, he's going to play 60 games this year, which in this season is going to be amongst the other great players. How many of them are going to play 75? None of them. None of them.
Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get the latest from the show. Also, be sure to check out more of the best clips from First Things First, or go watch a few segments from our other shows on FS1.